What's up guys, welcome back and welcome to a super quick guide on how to service your Honda Jazz. This is the 1.4 petrol with a CVT gearbox. I'll show you quickly how to do the CVT gearbox, but the full guide on how to do that and cure the CVT gearbox judder is in another video. But first things first, and probably the easiest thing to do, is air filter. 4 clips, pick that off, pull that down, over there. That's your air filter. That is definitely second hand. Obviously check that for like leaves and stuff, chuck that in the bin, put a new one in there. Next up is underneath. So here we have where those little drips are coming down. That was a 17mm on the sump plug, and here's your oil filter here. Now this hasn't been serviced about 2.5 years, so I had to get a massive ratchet on there, and I've had to incorporate some oil filter pliers on the oil filter, but that is now hand tight. And then obviously, whoop, here she comes. Be good if I got it in the bucket as well. Here she comes. So obviously let that drain, and then put a new oil filter on there, new sump plug on there. Dip your finger in the oil that's in the bucket, run it around the rubber seal on the new oil filter before you fit the new one, so that it doesn't skag and it doesn't leak. While I'm underneath, the CVT gearbox is here. So that is the that's just a 3/8 drive on the sump plug there. Drain that out, and then above is a dipstick with the fill hole there. So you need like a little series of hoses and a filter to get the oil back in there. And then the spark plugs are all under here. Fun fact, this has got 8 spark plugs. It's not a V8, I know what you're thinking. 2 spark plugs per cylinder. So 2 10mm on here, you've got to get them off. I've undone these already, so they are just finger tight. Always got one of these, they're well handy. That's a sump plug underneath. And then that just lifts off. Chuck that there. And then you've got 4 this side and 4 the other side. Obviously the other side are a bit of a faff to get to, but these are 10mm on the top, coil packs, same the other side. I'll undo one, show you what's involved. Just a 10mm on there, undo that, probably pull that wire off, that's it, just like push the tab on the back, pull that off, pull that off, pull that down or off, new word, doff, and then keep those in your little handy tray. Give your coil pack a wiggle. That should come out nice and dry as well. If these come out of oil on, you might have troubles. And then right down in there's your spark plug, and then get your spark plug spanner. That should have like a little rubber thing inside which grabs. Whoa, she's windy. My lie mat's left the building, so it should have a little rubber thing in there which grabs a spark plug. Put it on a great big long one, pop it down in there. Obviously clearly doesn't need to be as long as that, but I'm compensating for something. And then hopefully that's not too tight, because this hasn't been serviced for about 2 or 3 years. Always quite dry. Oh dear. It shouldn't be that much resistance. Ideally put all your coil packs in order, so I'm going to stack up 4 along there and then stack up the other 4 along the side so they all go back in the same place. There she is. That is, I can't even believe this thing is working. Good grief, they have got to have been in there to about 50,000 miles. They look dreadful. So yeah, all that resistance is off the thread. So what I'm going to do is put a dab of oil on the new ones, wind it in, wind it out a bit, and then when I wind it in again, you'll feel that it's all nice and smooth and lovely. And then basically the other side is exactly the same. You're gonna have to maneuver around all this other stuff, but same thing. You've got 10mm there, coil packs come off. Might have to take some of this off, but I don't think so. I lied, it is actually a bit tricky back here because you've got this bar that runs along the top which is housing all the cabling, but right at the far end there's like a little thing that's clipped in here, and if you go to the back of it, lift that up and the whole thing slides off, and then this whole thing's loose, and from this end as well, see that slides under there, and then unclip all of these, and then that whole thing will lift out the way, and then you'll be able to get to your coil packs. another tip as well, once you get all the coil packs out, you won't be able to get in there with like a really long bar like that one. That's too long anyway. So I've got this one, but also the one that you need isn't quite gonna fit in there. So I've got this one, however long that is, and then that pops in there. Put that on top of the spark plug, and then I've got a tiny little one that goes on the top of that, because if you try and have one that is that long, you'll struggle to get it in under there. And then you could put your ratchet on top of that, but then when you're ratcheting, you'll probably end up scuffing your knuckles on this. So, and that is tight as well, my days. And that's basically it. Put it all back, fill it up with oil, which is there, check it on dipstick, which is there, and you're done. As always, hope you found that helpful. Like, subscribe, share, check out my other servicing videos, because I've done a bunch of stuff, including all the stuff that you can see in here. I'll see you on the next one.